Hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in. We're getting things ready to continue on with this bag, at least for a few minutes anyway. I've got about 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches of work done, and I'm still having fun trying to get this all to come together. So it's going to be a little bit working on this to get it to be a little easier to work on. So knitting is a challenge with these bag bottoms, just so everyone knows. It's going to be a challenge. So I've wrapped it around, and I thought maybe I was going to have to add more onto the corners, but once it gets around, that corner is really, really nice. So I don't need to do any more of that. And as you can see, when I started knitting, I am knitting on the inside of the work, because when I flip this over, I want it to, yeah. And I don't know why we got all bright like that all of a sudden. What in the world? Hello, Michelle. How are you? So I am going to be working on some of the mosaics, or actually the color work. We're not going to call it mosaics, even though that's what I originally started out with. But because we're working in the round and I'm not that versed in the mosaics, I am just going to change over to stranded color work and go that route. Okay. So, let me see. Let me turn this around here and see if this is as tall as I want it to get started on the bag. I think it is pretty much, because I wanted mostly to showcase that color work. And we're going to get this all pulled around gently to this side. And we will now start working it from this side. And as you can see, it's all nice up around the bottom. We got our knit side on the outside now. No one cares for you. Welcome in. Hey, Shirley. How are you, honey? Eugenia, welcome in. Hey, Rowdy. Captain Fuzzybeard. Welcome in. Welcome in. So I'm going to start. I might do. I don't know. Are we back at the beginning yet? Let's see where we are. Where's that string at the beginning? Up over here. So we have to go back over to here before I can even start. And why is that giving me so much? Maybe because it's reflecting off of that. Everything got bright over here on this desktop, like it was flooded with light. So yeah, I got to work this row back over to the start, and then we will start the next row with our color work. And I might have to switch back and forth with the crochet hook a little bit on these longer ones until we get a little further away from this bag bottom. Hey, Shauna. I see you, Sherry. How are you, honey? I'm doing well, well, well. Welcome in, Tanya. Sherelle, welcome in. So I'm a crocheter and a knitter, and I like to share the projects that I'm working on. I also like to teach knit and crochet. I do that right here. Let me take this up just a tiny bit higher. Bring it over that way a little bit. Brooklyn. Shauna, I have gotten one of those purse bottoms that has the holes punched in it. It's got the little feet on it, and we're making a bag. We are making a bag. I'm going to use that UV reactive yarn, also known as blacklight yarn, that I had left over from my gloves into here. This has been really, really fun to do. I probably should have put a bunch of different double pointed needles in here, and it would have made it a lot easier, because when I get about halfway through, it's almost to the point that I got to do it with the crochet hook again, because it's not far enough off the bag that I can bunch up this row of work here, because it won't let me pull the stitches from over here. So I kind of have to work the needle back and work into it as best I can until I get a little more length, and then this will ease up for me. But yeah, it was fun getting this started. For sure, for sure. It was. And I got this side and that other short side to do, and we'll be back at the beginning, and we will start with some of this color work, which ought to be amazingly amount of fun, because I have to hold the colors in opposite hands, and my poor little pinky's getting ground up on the corner of this leather over here. It's trying to kill me. There we go. Trying to take my finger off. Felt like it was being, you know, sawed on, rubbing back here, because I'm holding it like this, and it was rubbing right into my cuticle. I just rubbed a tender spot on my finger. Crafts are dangerous. Braver than you. Why? You wouldn't have tried something like this? I've crocheted these before, and I thought, man, a knitted one would look really, really neat. So I was like, okay, let's give this a try. And of course, you know me. I just dive right in with both feet. I didn't look up any videos or anything else like that. I just said, okay, we can figure this out, and we're going to do it. And we did. We did. We figured it out. Let's try not to grind my pinky on here again, holding on to this. All right, now. Trying to get it around here, but not around here on the tail part. I'll be glad when I get a good more of this done, and then I won't have to struggle like this. I might have to take 60-inch circular and do magic loop. I don't know what the heck was going on there, but I might have an extra stitch. We'll find out. If so, I'll tuck it in, and we'll find out when we do the color work chart. Now we are back to the beginning. So this should be fun to work color work in two hands and shuffle all of this. Do I want to go a couple more rows up? And do I want to jump into magic loop, which isn't going to make things much easier. I'm just going to be more worried about tension. That gives me about an inch, almost an inch. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's see. So we need one color in one hand and one color in the other hand. And knitting needles everywhere. Let's see how well this goes. We don't want to start knitting with the tail. I've done that before. That's not fun. Alright, so We're going to start with, and I'm working from the chart that I have in front of me on my laptop. And move my tracker up there a little bit. So now when I add on the color that I'm going to be working with, you can get them off of the Amazing Shopping website. They are also on the other online shopping apps that might be a little less expensive. So yeah, Shauna, this is what's left. And then I have another 100 grams left out of when I made the gloves. So it's got all different colors in here, and it's just, I love it. I love it. And I just can't stop working with it because it's so darn it soft. It feels like fleece pajamas. Really soft fleece pajamas. So again, I'd fold my yarn back over itself and create a little loop. And I'm going to put that on here as my very next stitch. And I'm also going to be trapping floats back here. So we got to trap the floating black yarn there because you don't want it laying out across the back over 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. It gives area for you to catch your fingers, your jewelry, and everything else, and it will snag your stuff up. Hence, trapping the floats, which means the floating yarn. And now I'm going to drop this, the tail of the colorwork yarn in here, and we will continue on. And it's pretty much the same all the way across. I don't have much tension on that yarn there. I need to grab that up that way. I can't really turn this because those long double pointed needle on the other side won't let me space wise. Let me take this up just a little bit. I still want to be able to see my comments there. And I did an extra stitch. That one shouldn't have been. That one should have been the other color. And this is what's making it so fun, the fact that all of my stitches are locked down. The fabric isn't as flexible as something that is not tacked down. So for these, I would recommend figuring out how many stitches you need to wrap under the bottom, how many you need to increase for whatever size bag that you want to make, and then, you know, accommodate your pattern with your stitch count. Make it in the round freely and then sew it to this. Because, yeah, this is really, really fun to do with this stiff like this, because I don't want to bend the bottom too much, because then the bottom doesn't stay hard and unflexible like it's meant to be. This is the fun part. There we go. And once I get a few more rows up, it'll get better and easier, more flexible. And I know you can't see what I'm doing when I trap those floats because I had to twist it and I'm off camera frame. And this is going to be fun to work on in here live. Because I could take my camera up to give me plenty of space, but then I won't see the comments. And I like to be as interactive as I can with everyone. Yeah, this is fun. I was using a crochet hook when it got stiff like this on this end, but I kind of can't now because I have too many yarns to hold on to. But like I said, as I get further on up in the rows, it will be a lot easier to work because it will bunch together better once we get further off the purse bottom. There we go. So we've got the starts of our color work here. Hello, Angry Dragon, how are you? And we've got a good bit of this stuff done and we're still struggling. We're still struggling. But I was able to take it from the bottom where I was working it, wrap it around the edge, and now we're starting on the color work. The real pretty color work. Again, this one comes over here. This one is over here. We didn't trap that float. Doo-doo. And yeah, we're going to hear a whole lot of noise now. Oh, the scratching. And I'm laying my yarn over top of the to trap my floats. And that's the way you trap them on the knit side when you're trapping the one that's in your left hand. When you trap the one that's in your right hand, it's a little different. And we will get into that on the next, yes, the very next row. And it's more so a kind of wrapping and unwrapping situation. And I'll explain that to you when we get around there, if you have time to hang out. If not, I know everyone has things that are going on. We don't take attendance here, just come when you can. Right. Now, trapping this float again, laying the yarn over top of the needle, wrapping the color that we want, and it slips right down behind it. It just moves that yarn up to the top so that when I go to do the next stitch, it covers over and locks it down into place. My yarn's getting in my way. And we're just, again, following the chart that I have up here. And we got that one. Thank you for the gifts, Angry Dragon. Toby Knits, I'm working on a purse. No, it doesn't create a yarn over, Mary. I will show you again when I go to do the next one. Sorry, I missed a bunch of the comments just working around. A video, any play. What does that mean, Bonnie? I'm not sure what you mean by that. It is coming along really, really good. It's still a pain in the, you know, in the tuchus. It's still a pain in the tuchus. I'm not high enough off of this yet to allow the fabric to not be as stiff as the base bottom. So, Mary, what is going on here? Let me see if I can't get up here to where you can see a little bit better, because we've got a lot going on here. This one's supposed to be that color, and we got 2 more to do before we trap a float. And all this stuff just wants to work against me right now. I'll be glad when I can put some other needles in here. Okay, so now, because I'm doing more than 1 stitch in this color, I need to trap this one so it's not a big loop across the back. So what I do, when it's the left hand yarn, I don't knock the stitch over onto the other side first. The yarn lays over, get this to cooperate here, over the top of your needle. So that way, when you wrap with the color that you want the stitch to be, you see how it goes right down behind? It doesn't create a yarn over, because when I pull it through, you see the black one is still here outside of my stitch, and the pink one is the only one that I pull through. So that way, you see the one here, the black one is here beside this stitch, even though the last black stitch I did was 2 stitches back. So it helps to move your yarn up with, and the way it gets trapped is when I go to do this stitch, it gets trapped, if it'll stay on this side. It gets trapped underneath of this one when I wrap my next stitch. So here you can see as I go to wrap this needle, I'm trying to watch it through the camera view, it goes right over top of the black yarn there, and all I'm pulling through is the pink stitch. But now the black yarn is over here when the last place I used it was over here. So it gets trapped underneath of the other stitches. It's almost like working over your stitches when you crochet. If you're familiar with crochet, this is the way you work over your stitches when you're knitting. Yeah. And then of course when you're trapping the other one, there's a different way that you have to trap this one. And again, up on the next row, I'll be able to show you that. And I don't know, it's awfully low. Let's turn that up just a bit. How's that? Hear a little bit in the background. Hopefully it's not too loud. I don't know how loud it is over there. Yeah, it's taken a little practice for me too. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, thank you. And again, continue on with our chart. When it's as unflexible as this is, it makes it really hard to maneuver the knitting needles so that you can get into, here we go. It's like I can only get these knitting needles to go straight. I can't get them to curve that little bit that I need them to curve so that I can get into the stitch and do what I need to. So yeah, as you see, I'm knitting like this. I've got this needle poking in my arm over here. Torturing myself to make a bag. That was the live that I did earlier. I can upload those. I'll upload those to my YT, so they'll be there for you to see. I did try to start picking up and knitting in here, and that didn't work. So what I actually did was I took a sewing needle, a yarn needle, and loaded it up with some yarn, and I just stitched through all the loops, making sure to go over and around and, you know, into the next one. So I had the loops all the way around, and I can show you that here on the inside. These are all the loops that went in between the holes that were punched in the purse bag. And then I went through there with a crochet hook and picked up and put the stitches on the knitting needle. And then I kind of had to crochet knit the stitches onto the knitting needles for a while, because again, we're right on this leather bag bottom. And I mean, it is flexible somewhat, but when you're talking about pulling these stitches over, it doesn't work out as well, you know, when you're knitting. You kind of have to work down the needle instead of pushing the work up on the needle. Crocheted cast on, it was kind of what I did. But I still had to, after I got a couple rows up, I was still working with a crochet hook, pulling my stitches through, because the knitting needles wouldn't twist. Like you have to twist these needles to get the, you know, to get into the stitch. Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, I'll upload those so everyone can see exactly how it started. And I will upload this one behind it. I know I'm probably going to have a bruise in my arm if I keep on doing it like this. It's hitting up in my bicep pretty hard there. Even though these are blunt, they are metal. Okay, and we're coming back around. I'm hoping not to have to get rid of a stitch, because I think I might have added one on one of the rounds because one of the stitches didn't look right. But we'll see when we get back around here. So I'll just knit two of them together at the end of the row. I'm going to have to go like this. I think it's going to be neat. All of these colors in this design that I've chosen. And I just think it's really going to look neat. It probably would be easier if I put smaller double pointeds over here. I wouldn't have as much to twist, but I don't think I have that many anymore. Yeah, we're going to have to put two together. I'm going to take this one, slide it over to here, and these two, we'll stitch those two together. And I will make sure to put my stitch marker in here now to mark the beginning of my row. I don't know why I'm trying to put these two together on that one. It ain't going to work. And that was the tail. Alright, and let me grab a stitch marker and put on here so that I don't have to depend on where's that string to know where the beginning of my row is, because I need to know where the end is now. So that way let me check the end of this chart too. Yeah. All right. Hey, Sunshine, welcome in. So here we go with row number 2, and keeping the yarn in the same hands and not losing our stitch marker. We are going to start. We're going to have to put this up around here. So I have to trap this float here because we're going to, and once I get settled in, I'll show you that again, Mary, because that's kind of tight right there on that corner. One, two, trap the black one, and there's that one. All right, now that's from where we added that in there. Okay, we're going to trap that float, and now we are going to do 3 stitches with the black color yarn. So the second stitch is where I will be trapping the float with the color that's in my right hand. Okay, so on this stitch here, when you're trapping the color that is in your right hand, if you knit the way I do, continental and English at the same time doing color work, you are going to wrap as if that's the color you want. And I would lag here. Wrap the color that you want, or the color you don't want gets wrapped first. The color you want to use gets wrapped second, and then this color you unwrap. You see what happens? Okay, this is now trapped behind this string, and the only color that's going to come through is the black yarn. Okay, and we'll do that again here in a couple more stitches. Here's the second one. We're going to lay that over the top. All right, one of these. 2 stitches in our black light yarn. Trapping that float there. And get these stitches to come up to the front here a little bit. Now we're going to have 3, not knocking it off there, 3 in the darker color here. The second one, I will trap that float again. Wrap the yarn you don't want, wrap the yarn you do want, unwrap the don't want. And there we are, and it's trapped back under there. Oh, this is going to be fun on this side. I might have to look through and see if I have some more double pointed needles, because this is really stretching the work down here. I'm going to feel it. Thank you for the gifts. Angry Dragon. Thank you, thank you. Alright, here comes 3 more of the black colored stitches. If I can get this to cooperate. Okay, again, trapping this one, we are going to wrap the color we don't want, wrap the color we do want, and then unwrap the color we don't want. There we are. And this is trapped in the back. Thank you, Toby Knits, for the roses. Okay. Wrap, wrap, unwrap. And there we go. There's another one. I got a couple more stitches here. 1, 2, and 1. So there we've started our second row. And I did say I was going to come on and show the start of the color work. I think I'm going to have to give this a break today because my hands are like, no, we don't want to do this anymore. And the needles are like, we're not going to cooperate. But here's what we have on the side of a bag bottom. So we are knitting a little color work bag here. And I'll finish up this row later. So there's the start. We just got barely past the start. So I am going to jump off of here and rest my hands for today. No, Breck, you can convert a round beanie pattern into a flat pattern. When it tells you to join your work, you don't join it. And it's going to tell you to knit every row. You're going to have to be careful and make sure you're knitting one row, purling one row, right side, wrong side, depending on what pattern you're using. If you're ribbing your beanie or if you have decoration in there, it just gets worked flat and then you seam it together. What I would do if I was going to knit it flat, I would add an extra stitch or two, because when you sew it together, you do lose a row of space. A Golden Girls purse. Oh, that's going to be so cute. I would love to see that when you get it finished. Really. So yeah, I will download both of the lives for today, and I will upload them to YT so that it's on there. Breck, if you have any questions about your pattern, because it'll tell you to cast on and then it tells you to join. All you really have to do is, make sure that your pattern transfers over. If you're doing like color work and such, and it started in the round, it might not pattern out very well because you have to work your chart. Thank you for all the gifts, Toby. I'm going to show you my chart back here. Normally, when you work graphed chart, okay, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see the one side of the chart. If your beanie comes with a chart, and you notice that the numbers are all up one side of the chart, that means you're working that in the round, just like I'm working this in the round. And every row will start back from the right side of the chart. So if you are working it flat, you are going to work one row this way and then the next row up, you're going to work it back this way. Okay, so if you're knitting on this side, you're going to be purling on the opposite side. Okay, so yes, you can knit it flat. Anything that's knit in the round, you can knit flat. You just have to seam it up. And anything that's knit flat, you can knit in the round. You just have to steek it, cut it when you get done. I've done that before too. So yeah, pay attention to your chart. Make sure that when you're working your wrong side rows, you're working from the left side of the chart first. So yeah, that's all. And it should translate over. Now, mind you, it's going to tell you if there's written instructions too, because should be working in the round. Row 2 is going to tell you to knit. You're going to have to make sure again to purl, but if you have ribbing, you're going to have to knit the knits and purl the purls on your wrong side row, working your way back. And if there's color work, it's all going to be purled on the wrong side row, and just, you know, copy your color work chart in your stitches. So, welcome in, Dee. Sorry to have to cut it short, but I was on the way out, so. But yeah, this is the pattern that I'm going to be doing on the bag. So the white areas here and what looks like gray, because I have the progress tracker on. Let me take that off. All of the black light will be in here, and the black yarn will be the outline. And that's what's going to go around the outside of this bag. I think it's so cute. It's a little leather bottom. It is flexible, but like I said, you know, this long stretch of needle, these stitches do not give in any way for you to work them off. So it's been a little hard on the hands today, but hey, you know, we chose to do this, so this is what we're doing. But yeah, it fit perfect, the stitch count and everything. I was worried that the corners were going to spread out, but they're not. They're not spread out. They're good to go. But yeah, going to make a drawstring bag because it came with the drawstring. And I'm going to have to make a little flap on the front, some kind of buckle closure. I'll figure that out. I do have snaps. And it came with a drawstring. I think I probably said that. And a strap to carry it with. So we're going to figure it is going to be cute. So I will continue to work on this week, as well as demonstrate other techniques in knitting. If anyone has any questions, hit me up with a message. I can plan that into this week's demonstrations. If you're new to crochet and knit or haven't done either before and would like to learn, I'm here to help anyone who wants to learn. Join me anytime. I'm normally on Monday through Friday, anytime between 6:30 and 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I do come back on again at 11:30 some days Eastern Standard Time as well. So catch me either of those times. And if you've recently followed me, go back and click on the little bell on my profile page, top left of the screen, and set your notifications as you wish. Either for personalized, if I tag you with a video, or all, depending on what you'd like to be notified of. Good afternoon, Ellen. So everyone, as usual, may all your stitch counts match, and happy crafting.